My voice is audible? Voice is
Yes,
coming?
Prabhu.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
One minute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dhamam Dhamma Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Gopi Janwalla Girdharidhari Jaya Yashodanandana Prajananandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Is my voice clear now?
It was breaking in between, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, it was breaking.
The voice. Should I try the voice from? I try it from here. Sorry.
And it is very low also, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Is the voice clear now? Hare Krishna. Online, is the voice clear?
Better than before, Prabhuji.
But still not clear, Prabhu.
Okay. Now it should be clear, I think.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Now it is
Prabhuji. Now it's clear.
Okay, good. So we'll have today's verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
भागवते महामुनि कृता परे ईश्वर
Bhagavate Mahamani Krite Kyumva. Alright.
So here, purport, you should do the anvaya of it. And how the anvaya is done? The anvaya is done through the word to word meaning and the words combined together. And then you can very easily feedback. So then you can get the full verse meaning very easily. So I break up into, so I just use the translation and break up the words with it. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated. This Bhagavad Puran propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from reason for the welfare of all. Such truth approves the threefold misery. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled with the great sage Vyasadeva, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What's the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of the Bhagavatam, by this cultural knowledge, the Supreme Lord established in his heart. So, yeah, so if you see here, dharma ketava. Dharma ketava means completely reject which are materially it is, can you come in? Okay, complete motivated. Dharma ketava. So what ketava means? So it is whatever is cheating dharma is, it is complete. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think now the network. This Nirmasara Vedamu. No. Those who are Nirmasara, or free, who are pure in heart, without envy. Masar envy. Masar means envy, Nirmas without envy. Is a vasta vastu. Shrimad Bhagavatam is vasta. And Srimad Bhagavate Mamune Krite Kimva Pare Ishvara. So this beautiful Bhagavatam combined with the great sage Vyasadeva is sufficient itself for God realization or the need of this. I'll disconnect my video. Okay. Abhi, now my voice is coming. Keep the speaker on. Yeah. Is my voice coming?
Yes, Prabhuji, now it's coming.
Is the voice coming clear online?
Yes, Prabhuji, now it's coming.
Increase the one. So Ishvara Sadhya Hridya Avruddhate. By this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord established within his heart. Atta Kritivi Shashri Tashanat. As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. Reader includes four primary subjects, namely pious activities, economic development, satisfaction of the senses, and final liberation from mental bondage. Religious life is a barbarous condition. Indeed, human life begins when religion begins. Difference between animals and human beings. Eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating are the four principles of animal life. These are common both to animals and to human beings. But religion is the extra function of the human being. Without religion, human life is no better than animal life. Therefore, in human societies, there is some form of religion which aims at self-realization and which makes reference to man's eternal relationship with God. In the lower stages of human civilization, there is always competition to lord it over the material nature, or in other words, there is a continuous rivalry to satisfy the senses. Driven by such consciousness, man turns to religion. He does perform pious activities or religious function in order to gain something material. But if such material gains are obtainable in other ways, then so-called religion neglected is the situation of modern civilization. चक्षुर्मिलितामेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यनापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं वदन्ति स्वयंवदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपां सारजातां सहगना रघुनाथां वितां तं सदैव सावधेतां सावधूतां परिजना सहितां कृष्ण चैतन्यदेव श्री राधा कृष्ण पादा Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamata Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Drishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurita Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Satte Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Hare Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur-Bhakta-Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all the devotees for the Bhagavatam class. So this verse is very, very important, what we're reading about Srimad Bhagavatam. The first verse talks about the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam? Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now this verse talks about the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the third verse talks about the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. There. So the Bhagavatam itself mentions its glories and the way to reach Srimad Bhagavatam. And what this verse is talking about, so this verse is telling how Srimad Bhagavatam is Tat Karyon Moolanam, uproot all the miseries in the heart. The first line talks about it rejects all the cheating religion and gives us the real dharma and meant for the nirmasara, people who are pure in heart. There, who don't have the proper translate nirmasara as envy. Vishwanath Jagati Thakur translate nirmasara as selfishness. Because only when there is a selfishness, there is a envy. And this Bhagavatam is meant for people who are free from envy. And what it does, Vedam Vastam Atra Vastu Shivada Tapkarayon Mudanam. It removes all the threefold miseries and bring auspiciousness. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite. Who has written this? Srila Vyasdev. Kim va parer Ishvara. What is the need of any other scripture? Bhagavatam is there now. Then what is the need of any other scripture? And the last line it says, very amazingly, anybody who hears this scripture, what happens? If you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? Yes? If one hears Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens?
Supreme Lord is established in the heart.
Yes, anybody online wants to say, what happens if you hear Srimad Bhagavatam?
Supreme Lord is established in the
It's there
heart.
in the verse.
Prabhuji, Supreme Lord is established within the heart.
Okay. The speaker sound is not coming, I think. Volume is speaker. I can on it, no? So they can speak. Yes, so what is the message? What happened? The fourth thing. It says Krishna at once captured the heart of a devotee. Krishna at once captured in the heart of a devotee. That means one attains prema. So just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one attains prema. Now, one condition is mentioned, nirmasaranam sata. That those who are pure in heart, Bhagavatam is meant for those. So what does it mean? Those who are pure in heart, at once hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they will attain prema. And those who are not pure at heart, just by hearing, desire to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, eventually they will attain prema. There will little delay, but they will
Attain.
prema. And that is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first verse of Bhagavatam talks about Krishna as the subject matter. He is the source. He is the inspiration. He is the creator. And the second verse talks about how to attain the Supreme Lord. Just hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the need of hearing any other literature? As we discussed the first day, when we chant the holy names, we do a lot of aparadhas. So chanting of the holy name is sufficient to produce Krishna Prem, but because of the aparadhas done in the chanting, we don't see the result. But when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, those aparadhas are removed and we can immediately see the result. Because sambandha, aparadhas are due to ignorance of a relationship with Krishna. So anybody who hears the Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? Anybody hears Srimad Bhagavatam? Krishna is captured in the heart. And that's why hearing Bhagavatam is so important. Another verse comes in the Bhagavatam 10th canto, Jnane prayasamudapasya namanta eva jivante haranti sanamukiratam bhavadiya vatam istane site dhanuvan manovi ajito jito pyasatastam ya prayasatasteralokyam. What it says? Jnane prayasa. Give up all mental speculation to understand about Krishna. And what you should do, you should hear Bhagavatam from the devotees. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam from the devotees. Tanmukritam bhavadiya varta. And sthane siddha means wherever, whichever ashram you are, brahmachari, grasta, vanaprastha, sannyas, stay in that ashram. You don't have to change the ashram. What you should do in that ashram? Stay, hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Sthane siddha. And with body, words, and mind. And such a person will capture the Lord in his heart who is unconquerable. See, to remember, now, if anyone ever tried, to remember Krishna is the most difficult thing in this world. How many have experienced that? You can remember all other things in this world, to remember the Lord becomes very difficult, even for a sadhaka. Right? To remember the Lord, if you have to remember things, it becomes much easy. But you have to remember Krishna because the mind is endued with forgetfulness of Krishna. But there is one very simple method of attaining that Krishna is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is attained. Then Krishna gets captured. So the simple process of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, many times when the topics are spoken, we feel, okay, some topic here we are feeling relevant. I mean, now this is sequential verse to verse Bhagavatam going on. It may not be spoken according to our taste and topic. And sometimes you may feel some things are already spoken. So when we give up this attitude and just become submissive with body, word, and mind. Body means at least body is awake. Right? Mind means you are attentively hearing receptively hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Even though you are attentively, but you are submissively hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And words, use your words to glorify Krishna. So when these three conditions are met, then what happens? The heart gets purified. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavad sevaya bhagavati uttam shoke bhakti bhavati nashtiki. And when the heart is purified, Krishna is captured in the heart. Now coming back to the first line. So any Srila Prabhupada's purport you read, one of the good ways to read Srila Prabhupada's purports, if you can connect with the commentary. See, every verse of Bhagavatam is like a commentary. The acharyas give commentary. So they break up the verse into different shlokas, different Sanskrit words, and for each Sanskrit word, there will be a paragraph. That's how the commentaries are written originally. Now, if you see, Srila Prabhupada also have written like that. Only thing we may not understand and see. So this one purport I thought to see from the point of view of then. Now, the first word is Katava Dharma, isn't it? So Prabhupada is explaining what is Katava Dharma and what is religion. So any religion done for the purpose, see, and Prabhupada is a very amazing point to say. Generally, why people do religion, go to God? Artha. And this kind of religion is Ketav Dharma, cheating religion. And Prabhu said that is why you see, so what happens, religion is materially motivated. Now what is happening today? People, you go software industry, you get money. Why to go to God? Therefore temples are empty. Even churches are empty. Right? See, Prabhupada said, don't make ISKCON a church program. Just only Sunday to Sunday. There. Only Sunday we hear about Krishna and rest 6 days we do sense gratification. So Nityam our program is Nityam Bhagavad Devya. Every day hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That's our program. It's not a Sunday to Sunday program. So man is thriving economically, so at present he's not very interested in religion. Churches, mosques and temples now practically vacant. Men are more interested in factories, shops and cinemas than in religious places erected by their forefathers. And in fact, you have to erect some religious places, you have to pay a lot of tax also. They will put in the commercial category. And then you have to pay a lot of water bill, a lot of electricity bill and things. So no concession. And there are a lot of concessions for hospitals. But with spiritual hospitals, no concession. So this practically proves that religion is performed for some economic gain. And such reason doesn't satisfy the heart. And when one has selfishness in bhakti, one is not able to taste the nectar of bhakti. When one gives to selfishness in bhakti, then only one can taste the higher rasa than bhakti. And that's what, who can relish Srimad Bhagavatam? One who has not reading Srimad Bhagavatam for a selfish purpose. He is hearing and reading Bhagavatam for a higher purpose, so the person will able to gain the nectar of Srimad Bhagavatam. Like when our mind is very fruitively motivated, even we are hearing Krishna Katha, there is no patience to hear Krishna Katha. There is no patience to hear Krishna Katha. कब खत्म होगा? ये करना है. Or even while hearing also, our mind in so many things. कि अभी ऑफिस में जाके ये करना है, अभी जाके वो करना है. If you don't absorb, how will you relish Srimad Bhagavatam? There. See, these 5 items of bhakti. What 5 items of bhakti? Chanting the holy names of the Lord, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, deity worship, Mathuravas, and association of devotees. Even a person without faith does them, but does with absorption, it will produce rati. Does with intensity and absorption, even without faith, it will produce rati. So if somebody hears Srimad Bhagavatam, he will be awakened. So dharma projita. So this practically proves that religion is performed from economic gain. Economic gains are needed for sensitivity. See, generally we have heard dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Bhagavatam reject this. Dharma also, artha also, kama also, and moksha also. Prem pumad mahan. And it says dharma is not for artha is not for kama, and moksha, pure devotee goes even beyond moksha. There. And moksha means becoming one with the Supreme. That a devotee doesn't want. Devotee just want to serve Krishna. So in the Vedas, the above 4 mentioned activities are described in regulative way, so there may not be undue competition for sense gratification. But Bhagavatam is transcendental to all the sense gratificatory activities. Atro paramo. Projitaha kaitava atro paramo. Bhagavatam is transcendental to dharma, artha, kama and moksha. तो जनरली किसी के पास जाओ, अरे क्या है धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष सीखना, नहीं, भागवतम उस चारों के परे है. एंड दैट इज व्हाई वेदास आर मेनली टॉकिंग अबाउट धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष. तुम ये पूजा करो देवी की, तुम्हें ये मिलेगा. तुम ये पूजा करो देवता की, सूर्य देव की, ये मिलेगा. पर भागवतम ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोल रही. ये किसने हम भागवतम पढ़ रहे हैं? कृष्णा प्रेम. एंड इट इज pure transcendental nature, it is understood only by the pure devotees of the Lord. Bhagavatam cannot be understood by a scholar. It can only be understood by a pure devotee of Krishna, who are transcendental to competitive sense gratification. इसको इतना पैकेज मिल गया, मुझको कम पैकेज मिला. We always keep comparing our packages. So one who is transcendental to competitive sense gratification and economic gain. So one should not earn. No, Bhagavatam is not saying. Bhagavatam is saying one should earn to keep the body and soul together. Labha jivet yavata, but not in a competitive spirit. So today's world is filled a person with competitive mentality, the competitive spirit, and that is something rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam. So keen competition between animal and animal, man and man, community and community, nation and nation. But the devotees of the Lord rise above such competition. They do not compete with the materialists because they are on the path back to Godhead. There is life, is eternal and blissful. So if you're thinking, like I remember, I was working in a software company, it's 14, 15 years back, and I had a top performance, but I'm going to join next year. So my manager told me, be careful, you may not be the best performer next time. I said, no problem. And he was like, he didn't know because I'm going to join, so there's a difference. So if you're going to leave company, anyway you don't, and you going to join and leave your career, you don't so much worry about whether you come first or no. Same way, when a devotee is thinking, oh, this life is temporary, the real goal is to go back home, back to Godhead. He just do things to keep the body and soul together, and focuses on the real purpose, that is to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, the moment you realize, now what happens though we are chanting, we are devotees, we do not identify with the spiritual world. We more identify with the material world. And because of identifying with the material world, we again get in the capture of lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. But what does Srimad Bhagavatam does? When you keep hearing Bhagavatam, our identification the material world goes away. Shivda Tatayod Mudanam. It takes away threefold miseries by taking the identification from the material world and making our identity with Krishna and the scripture. And as you're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, without our knowledge, this identity is changing. Without our knowledge only, this identity is changing the moment you're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, to hear a Bhagavatam class, you have to keep your identity aside. Otherwise, you can't hear a class also. For example, like now who can come and hear Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning? Because so many things. People have to go office, they have to eat their breakfast, there's so many things. To come and hear that Bhagavatam class, you have to, for 1 hour at least, you have to keep your material identity aside. Otherwise, you can't hear. Like we can see Prabhuji's, the yoga devotees are coming every day. You have to keep at least morning time your material identity aside. That's how you can attend the morning program. Right? Same way, so many Prabhujis have come, Udut Nimai Prabhu has come, Parth Prabhu has come, Lila Prabhu has come, and Matajis have come. So you forget who are you, and that's why you are able to come. If you remember what are the duties in life, then you say no time to come for Bhagavatam class. So to hear a Bhagavatam class, you keep the material identity aside, and those devotees, even those who have joined online, right? To give 1 hour precious time of the morning is an easy thing. But still you're coming to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So that means to say, unless you keep and now even you have come, unless you keep your material identity aside, rather than hearing Bhagavatam or class boards are like, or other thoughts will start coming. Class boards are like. So our material identities will take over our mind. But the moment you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, little message goes inside. You'll forget material identities and you'll identify more with Krishna. And then material life automatically become peaceful. Because material life is, suffering is there due to expectations in material life. See, when we more identify with material life, more expectations in material life comes, and that makes us miserable. But when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, the identification is slackening, then the expectation is slackening. And Bhagavatam is not telling don't do your duty, right? See, ignorance or irresponsibility is when person stop doing his duty. But Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam is not telling to stop the duty. It only talking about how while doing duty in this world, one should gain rati for Krishna. So at the right time, one can give up the duties and fully absorb in Krishna. But it's not doesn't talk about prematurely giving one's duties. So two things side by side you have to do. You have to do your duty at the same time. Now, pande jati ratim shamevi kevlam. If our duty doesn't increases our love for Krishna, it's just a useless labor. And that's the best uses if we hear every day morning, then it increases our rati for Krishna. Increases our rati for Krishna. And slowly one day will come when your all duties are over, you can resign your duty and fully absorbing Krishna to go back home, back to. Or even while doing duty, your more absorption has come in Krishna, like Bhishma Dev. Bhishma Dev is fighting, but on fighting day, on the battlefield also is remembering Krishna there. So the absorption, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, our absorption is changed from material life to spiritual life. And that's what Bhagavatam does it. It takes away our absorption in material life and put our absorption in spiritual life. And the moment that absorption changes, where is suffering? You find Krishna has set in your heart. And that's miraculously Bhagavatam does. But when we're attached to selfish purposes, oh, मैं ये करूँगा मुझको ये मिलेगा, so you will not able to hear Srimad Bhagavatam or understand Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the change of identity will not happen. But as you keep hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, somehow come and sit in the class, somehow pay attention to the message of Bhagavatam, the selfishness will get purified. That natural absorption, Abhinivesha will get there. And there's those people who come in the beginning time. For them to be attentive in the class is very difficult. And you have to tell a lot of jokes, you have to tell a lot of practical application, something. Then they start getting. If you directly speak Krishna Katha, wo off hoke chale jate hain. It doesn't enter because so much mental absorption is there. Slowly. But as devotees, when we're coming, as the spiritual absorption is increasing. And there is an example in 10th canto, how by hearing Krishna Katha could change one's heart. See the Brahman Patnis. Now the Brahmana said that how our Brahman wives became great devotees because they never went to Gurukul. They did not follow Brahmacharya. They did not study the Vedas. They did not perform austerities. How they became? Because Vrajvasis will travel from Vrindavan to Mathura. And on the way, while they are traveling, who? Vrajvasis. What would happen? What will happen? They will speak about Krishna Katha. Yeah, today Krishna danced on Kaliya. Today Krishna did this Leela. And because they were hearing with so much faith, because वो बाजू में ही हो रहा था. See, they had faith because वो बाजू में लीला हो रही थी. So their heart got so attached to Krishna. When Krishna called through his cowherd boys, the Brahmanas neglected. But when they went to their wives, see Krishna is hungry, they left every time at that moment to give food stuff to Krishna. And when they returned back, their husbands were glorifying them. That we are so attached, but you are so attached. You have developed so much devotion to the Supreme Lord there. And though Brahmanas did all the tapa, all everything, but they did not hear about Krishna. They did not heard Bhagavatam from a devotee. But this Brahman Patnis, they did not did all these things, but they did only one thing. Hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a devotee. And this is the Bhagavad Dharma. And this is what is only thing required in Kali Yuga. Just sit and hear from a devotee pursuing. And that's what this verse is talking about, Srimad Bhagavatam. So devotees who keep hearing attentively stay in Krishna consciousness. And those devotees who stop hearing, eventually Krishna consciousness start looking boring to them and they leave. And therefore, hearing is the most important part. Even more than Pancharatrika Vidhi, this Bhagavad Vidhi of, see, we do so many services. It's like Pancharatrika Vidhi because we're doing the service for the deities and things. But the Bhagavad Vidhi is very important where there's a hearing and chanting of the holy names of God. The direct preaching, where you're reading proper books with people, preaching about Krishna, and you're hearing about it. So that is something very, very important to nurture our spiritual consciousness. So the devotees are not only, so such transcend are non-envious and pure in heart. In the material world, everyone is envious of everyone else, and therefore there is a competition. But the transcendental devotees of the Lord are not only free from material envy, but are well-wishers to everyone, and they strive establish a competition-less society with God in the center. See, the whole world is working so hard. Is due to most of the time due to comparative mentality. Like one Grasa told, who I have put my child in very simple school, 1 lakh per year. Simple school is 1 lakh per year in Bangalore. Don't laugh. Once you get married, you will come to know the realities of life. So, so, so he's put his child 1 lakh per and said, but Prabhuji, many people they compare, oh, इसका बेटा 5 लाख के स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है मुझे भी अपने बच्चे को 5 लाख रुपए पर ईयर के स्कूल में भेजने का है and then they have to work so hard earn so much money and do so much with it so due to competition of this कि हमको भी दिखाना है हम कितने बड़े व्यक्ति हैं people become miserable there and that's what happening in the society they can't think simple living high thinking because of the competition created in the society for luxuries and facilities, everybody has to obtain that luxury and facility. And in order to obtain that luxury and facility, you have to work so much hard. Life is miserable. But a devotee doesn't compete. He's happy with, satisfied with whatever he has. But he wants to give opulence to Krishna. Make beautiful temple for Krishna. Make beautiful, everything for Krishna there. And that's a devotee. So devotee rises over competitive mentality. Like you heard the story of envy, where a person got a benediction that whatever you will ask, your boon will be fulfilled, but your neighbor will get twice of you. So he asked for 1 car, neighbor got 2 cars. He asked for a house, neighbor got 2 houses. Now start burning with envy. अरे मेहनत मैं करता हूँ मांगता मैं हूँ फायदा नेबर का हो जाता है then at the end he asked for कि मेरी एक आंख चली जाए इससे नेबर अंदर so this is the power of envy in this world that people are miserable. It's a puja labh pratishtha that is made. And Bhagavatam has a solution. Hearing Bhagavatam purifies that envy in our heart. And it can be very simple, humble. अभी दिखाने देखो जब ये बॉडी अर्थी पे जाएगी किसको दिखाओगे पूरे जीवन में हम कहते गए लोग क्या कहेंगे लोग यही कहेंगे राम राम सत्य whole of our life we get into asking question अरे ऐसा करेंगे तो लोग क्या कहेंगे ऐसे सिंपल रहेंगे हमारे घर में आएंगे लोग क्या कहेंगे ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो लोग क्या कहेंगे एट द एंड जब हमारी मृत्यु होगी लोग वही बोलेंगे राम राम सत्य वही 4 वर्ड बोलेंगे तो अभी बोल दो करके एंड व्हाई डू वर्क सो मच हार्ड फॉर दिस होल थिंग प्रभु जी ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो रिलेटिव्स क्या बोलेंगे ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो रिलेटिव्स क्या बोलेंगे करके जब मर जाएंगे तो रिलेटिव्स क्या बोलेंगे राम राम करके so one should not a so devotee doesn't get carried by the transcendent devotee of the Lord are not only free from mental envy but are well-wisher. So there are three paths mentioned in the Vedas: Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and the Jnana Kanda. So Karma Kanda is तुमने देवता की ये पूजा करो तुमको ये फल मिलेगा. तो पंडित लोग बहुत एक्सपर्ट होते हैं. पहले आपका चार्ट देखेंगे, फिर बताएंगे तुम्हारे घर में ये दोष है, इसके लिए ये पूजा कराओ तो ये दोष निकल जाएगा. 20,000 की पूजा करानी है बस. अगर से नारी यू शो दे विल टेल एवरीथिंग राइटली, बिल्कुल एक्सपर्टली, कि तुम्हारे जीवन में क्या हो रहा है, क्या होने वाला है, बिल्कुल सही देते हैं. फिर बाद में कंक्लूजन क्या है, ये सब निपटाना है तो 1,00,000 रुपए की पूजा करा लो, सब नफा हो जाएगा करके मंडला वगैरह. So this is called कर्मकांड. They want to take shelter of Krishna, everything will become all right. ये पूजा करा लो, वो पूजा करा लो तो सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. That's what they would say. So that is कर्मकांड. Now what is ज्ञानकांड? ज्ञानकांड is ज्ञानकांड involve you understand the first. So there's a karma kand, is upasana kand, where you worship the devatas with a proper vidhi, not only for one puja, this puja, you just worship a devata as a devotee. That is upasana kand, and it also mentions the Supreme Lord there, but that upasana you get this benefit. In the jnana kand is you have a process to understand you are not his body, you are spirit soul. You should do tapasya. Like generally, upasana kand will be given for vanprasthas, because jnana kand will be given for the vanprasthas. Karma kanda will be mainly for the grihasthas, and for the vanprasthas mainly there will be upasana kand and the jnana kand. थोड़ा तपस्या करो, उपासना करो, meditation करो, ये सब करो. And for sannyasis is mainly jnana kand there. So that's why different scriptures will have different kand, but the people of different age group there. So Jnana Kanda is higher, where you don't identify with the body, you do some tapasya to understand you are not his body, you are spirit, soul. And Prabhupada writes here, the impersonal aspect of the absolute truth is not the highest. The highest truth is relatively distinguished from the illusion. So Bhagavatam gives that the absolute truth is a person. It is therefore higher than Jnana Kanda, what to speak of Karma Kanda division. And Bhagavatam is even higher than Upasana Kand, because Upasana Kand recommends the worship of Devtas also. But Bhagavatam recommends only the worship of the Supreme Lord. So in the Karma Kand is a competition for heavenly planets, Jnana Kand, and Upasana Kand also is a similar competition, but Bhagavatam is superior even to Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, and Upasana Kand there. And then Prabhupada says, and the development of this transcendental consciousness, one and different leads one immediately to the stage of freedom from the threefold misery. The threefold miseries are, and third canto says, engage constantly in chanting and hearing about me. The sadhus do not suffer from material miseries because they are always filled with the thoughts of my pastimes and activities. So when our shravan to the reach to the stage of smarna, there is no suffering. Suffering, even in the life of a devotee, suffering is there till the point you're not thinking of the shravan. Kirtan has not led to the point of smarna. Because where there is a smaran of the Leela of the Lord, there is no suffering. So because they're always filled with the thoughts of my pastimes and activities. The devotee is fully aware that he is one with Absolute and at the same time is eternal personal servant to the Absolute. So what is the practical application then Prabhupada writes? In the material concession and falsely think himself the Lord of all his service. Therefore he is always troubled by the threefold miseries of life. Now this world looks very mysterious world. Think himself the Lord of all you serve. Can you say how people are troubled by becoming the Lord of what one serves? Can somebody say? Huh? What does it mean? We consider ourselves a Lord of all what we survey. You've read enough proper purport many times, right? The problem is we think ourselves as a Lord of all what we survey. So survey means you scan, you survey, क्या देखते हैं? So whatever object we view, the Jivatma, the conditioned soul, he thinks on the position of lording over. How I can lord over that Jiva. In fact, lust is also about lording over the other person. Greed also lording over the resources. You want more and more for your enjoyment. You're lording or not? Pride is about also lording over. I'm better than. So this lording over tendency is what is the. This lording over tendency is what is the cause for our suffering. Even in devotee circle, when we are doing management, we will try to lord over, and there will be problem. When we come, कि ऐसा नहीं हुआ, वैसा नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ, ये नहीं हुआ. We face problem or not? Because we think the things should go the way I want. And when things don't go the way I want, then there is a problem. And Mr. Prabhupada uses the word, a lot of all what we survey. That's the only problem even in devotee circle or material circle. We want to be the lord of, if somebody is a family man, he want to see his wife and children should do the way he is wanting. And they don't do, there's a frustration. Say the wife think the way she wants husband and children should do. And when it doesn't happen, there's a frustration. So when we take the role of a lord, means trying to control things in our own way, there's a frustration. Then a question may come, is father correcting a child is not good? Is father correcting there? No. It is done in the mode of service attitude. That I'm just trying to serve them, not lord over. In that mode, one does the service, then one is not frustrated. One is frustrated when one does the seva in a mood of lording over oneself there. So Lord of all is service. They've always troubled by 3-4 means of life. But as soon as one comes to know his real position, yet one becomes free from all misery. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Paririshvara. Over and above this, Srimad Bhagavatam, the personal commentation of the Vedanta Sutra by Srila Vyasdev. So, Vedanta Sutra is the essence of the Vedas. And what is the commentary of, natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra? Srimad. So, if you know the Vedanta Sutra, you don't need to know anything else. And if you know the commentary of Vedanta Sutra, you don't have to read any of the Puranas. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is there. Why to read any other Purana there? Because other Puranas, there are different methods set forth by which one can worship the demigod. But Bhagavatam, only the Supreme Lord is mentioned. And then Prabhupada answered, the proper method of receiving this transcendental message to hear it submissively. A challenging attitude cannot help one realize the transcendental message. When particular words used, proper guidance, the word is shushushu. One must be anxious to hear this transcendental message. The desire to sincerely hear is the first qualification. So even you don't have attendance, still you come to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? That anxiousness, not because of attendance, but you want to really want to hear. So if we come just to hear because there is attendance, then that is not. But if you really go, let me know what is there, how, let me there, when there's the eagerness, the Bhagavatam reciprocates. And you see the message will come in our heart. Okay. So I'll end here this purport. I'll take 1 or 2 questions if anybody has a question. Okay. Anybody has a question? Okay, Abdut Nanai Prabhu. If online somebody has a question, you can type also. Yeah. Absorb it. then what is the benefit? What will you want to say? What benefit for? Yeah. So Prabhu is saying, asking question, how both can go together, absorption and no faith. See, there's a story. See what happens the moment you get absorbed, it will work. Then you develop faith. For example, hippies. Did they have faith in the holy name? When Srila Prabhupada went. They just absorb in the holy name, they develop faith. It works. So when you do bhakti with intensity, it works. Then you develop faith. Faith is not a prerequisite. Faith is the substance of bhakti to go to the stage of bhava. But to start bhakti, although Shraddha is required in the process, but not complete faith. And somehow or other, if you engage in the process, that process gives you realization, process gives you ecstasy, and then you develop faith with it. And when the faith is developed, then naturally you attain the full perfection. Yes. Anyone last question? Okay. I hope online, after some time, my voice was proper for the
Yes,
rest of the
Prabhuji.
class.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So thank you so much for joining for the daily Bhagavatam class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
No, Shravaniketan, Ismana, at the time you will not feel any suffering. So before that also suffering will keep go away, but the complete annihilation of suffering in the life of a devotee will happen at the stage of Ismana. He will not perceive only material misery. Increase Shravan Kirtan, increase your preaching, increase more book reading. So it has to be done. Okay, how do we guide our children and family in the nature of seva? This is a good question. How do we guide our family and children? See, you should see your child is not your child. It's Krishna has given you this child to take care of. That makes life much easier. Same way, if you see wife also, Krishna Dasi, then your Dasi, life makes it easier. And that requires some spiritual advancement. Same way, for wife also to see the husband and thing. So when we see each other as a part of them as Krishna's children, Krishna has given you, then the service attitude comes. Like one couple got married. So my spiritual master told to the husband, see your wife as my daughter, not your wife. Then you will treat her properly. तो कुछ भी होगा तो complaint जाएगा ना ऊपर. So you are aware. So when that mood is there, we see them as Krishna's children. That Krishna has given them. What do Lord will want us to do with them? And actually, love of parents for the child is Krishna's love for us. Krishna only give that vasalya to the parents that they experience that love. So parents' love is actually Krishna's love for us. Therefore, devotees should very sensitively deal with their parents. There. Because Krishna has put the love in their heart. But despite that, choose Krishna in all section of your life. Because he's the real parent. There. Okay. Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Nathan ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.